Champions Cup quarterfinal. First one I managed to see this weekend was Saracens hosting Glasgow, 56 points to 27. That is a pretty high scoring game. A lot of tries in this game. And this one was on at I think 4:15 New Zealand time, and I got up at 4:15. By the time I had myself parked ready to start watching, I was already 5 minutes in, and I only just caught the second try. That's a crazy start to the game. Loads of times I've missed the first few minutes and nothing particular happens. This one, Price scored in the second minute. I caught Liam Williams taking a high ball to open the scoring for Saracens. So Glasgow did start this one in the lead, but Williams got that high ball. They converted it. It was 7-0. I was surprised to see no Owen Farrell playing in this one, but apparently his wife went into labour, so he withdrew from the squad, and they shuffled the back line around, and it didn't seem to have too much of an impact. If that was a chance for Glasgow, it didn't seem to make much of one. Anyway, the scoring did kind of settle down for a little while. From that second try, Saracens kicked the penalty, about 14 minutes, made it 10-7, and then it wasn't until about the 26th minute when Strettle went over for a try from a Jamie George pass as well, and boy did he have a good game. He was man of the match. 15-7, Barrett got a try a few minutes later, just on the half-hour mark. They had a big gap that he just kind of stormed through. 22-7. Glasgow did kick a penalty after that, 22-10, to kind of make it a bit more respectable. And then another one, 22-13. And that's what it was at half-time. So 22-13, you're still thinking Glasgow are in with a shot. They're not out of the game by any means. Still kind of within touching distance. But then another penalty, 25-13, second half. Williams got his second try. Just came onto the ball at pace. That's when it really started looking ominous for Glasgow. 32-13, another penalty, 35-13. Strettle got an intercept as Glasgow kind of started having to force things. It was a bit of a silly pass. 42-13, and then George from a maul, kind of, if anybody deserved the try, it was him, from 5 meters out. 49-13. Glasgow, I guess to their credit, didn't give up. They such a scoreline they could have just kind of laid down, but they still kept fighting. George Horn got a try, 49-20. The Thompsons got one in return, made it 56-20, and then Glasgow had the last say with Ferguson getting a try after the kind of clock had already ticked over to 80. So 56-27, I mean, on the bright side, I suppose you go, they went to Saracens and scored 27 points. But when you concede half 100, it's not ideal. They were struggling a wee bit at times with Glasgow with some of those high balls that Saracens were sending their way, and Saracens didn't really look disjointed with with guys having moved around. So yeah, they just looked absolutely class, and they have done the whole Champions Cup. I've been watching. There's a reason they finished first. There's a reason they haven't been beaten in the Champions Cup. It's because they have just looked kind of a cut above, and this was another case of that. I mean, to be fair, Glasgow winning some penalties on defence, and their scrum was actually doing a pretty good job of winning penalties of their own. But just some mistakes. Like Hogg kicked the ball out on the full a couple of times. I think it was from a kickoff. Swinson went off injured, and that looked pretty serious. Barrett also, and he's a pretty tough cookie. If he goes off, he's really feeling the pain. He was trying to limp off, but eventually he had to hop on the little stretcher thingy. So yeah, but Barrett was having a storming game up until that point, as were a lot of the Saracens guys. To be fair, I mean, I can't speak too highly of Jamie George, because he was one of their leading guys. I mean, if you just look at the individual stats, team-wise, it was 495 run meters to 351. So Saracens getting a lot of running ball. Position and territory 61-63 to Saracens. So Glasgow on the wrong end of that one as well. A key one, I suppose, and it kind of goes with what the commentators were saying about Glasgow shooting themselves in the foot a bit. Turnovers conceded. Saracens 6. Remember, they had 60% of the ball. Glasgow 20. It's really going to be hard if you've only got 40% of the ball. When you get it, you need to treasure it, and yeah, just too many errors. Penalties conceded 7-11, so not a huge penalty count. That was 7 in favour. 7 in favour of Saracens, and they had less. But if you look at kind of some of the top guys, I mean, Jamie George had 52 run meters, which for a hooker is a stellar effort. Hogg had 101, so he was the number one for the game. It's good to see him back, even if he was good at times, and then other times he just, I guess, being back from injury, was lacking a bit of sharpness. Gibbons had the most tackles of the game with 19, missed 2. Number one tackler for Saracens was Jamie George with 8 from 8, so they did have more of the ball, not made to make as many tackles. But yeah, this sets up a pretty tasty looking clash between Saracens and Munster in April. Obviously, Munster were in that same pool as Exeter, and they managed to get an away draw when they had to travel to Exeter. So Munster have had a bit of experience with one of the top English sides, so it will be interesting to see how that one plays out. It's still a wee way away, so I guess kind of time for both sides to settle back into the domestic comp, and yeah, we'll see how they go in April. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty entertaining game. First half, you still weren't totally sure who was going to win it. Second half, Saracens really just a cut above. Good effort from those guys. They are going to be favourites surely going into things. I think they said that the next game is not going to be in London. I think they said it's going to be at the Rico. Interesting. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. Did you watch it? How do you think the teams went? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.